we introduce Rajat Sethi? Give us a sense, Rajat, of the mood in the BJP camp this morning. Are they confident that they've got both in the bag, or are they very rattled and worried about Jharkhand?
I think they're cautiously confident. Results have been throwing surprises, and they don't want themselves to be victim of any kind of a surprise. So I believe they'll hold their horses at least till 11 a.m. in the morning before they come out and begin the celebrations. But if you look at Maharashtra unit, BJP seems fairly confident. They were fairly confident even 15 days back. So ever since the last 2 weeks, the way elections has been sort of shaping up, I did not see BJP and the entire UT panicking at any point in time. Surprisingly, the Aghadi wasn't panicking as well. They were comfortably numb throughout the elections. I was hoping at some point, the real escalation of the campaign activity from the Aghadi is going to happen. When you are a challenger, right, you need to behave like a challenger. You need to go out, put up messages which are directly attacking, scathing in nature. But look at the topics that the Aghadi picked up. Towards the very fag end of the election, they picked up Adani issue. They believed that, Adani is a central issue which will help them sway the election one way or the other. Instead, farmer issue could have been a far bigger issue, and this is what we've been debating for the past 2-3 days. Apparently, Aghadi was convinced even before, UT got that some cautious confidence that this election is a done deal for Aghadi. They're winning.
So Amitabh Tiwari, you've been speaking to strategists on both sides of the political divide. Who do you think this morning, they're not pretending that they are confident when you speak to them, but who is andar se dara hua?
I think both are cautious about the results because anything can happen. But if you see the prediction or the confidence of the MBA in getting the numbers they are predicting are not significantly higher. They're talking about 150, 155, 157, which inherently assumes that there is going to be a very tight battle. But if you see BJP's internal numbers or Mahayuti's internal numbers, they are like 165, 180-ish. And that they have the confidence because now of the 6% increase in the female turnout vis-a-vis the Lok Sabha election, they feel that this overarching theme, which was the only overarching theme in this election, which is the Ladki Bahin Yojana, might have worked on the ground. Now we'll have to see. However, there is a catch here is that if Ladki Bahin Yojana works in Maharashtra, then the Maiya Samman Yojana also is likely to work in Jharkhand. So it plays both ways. Now there is a battle between Rajdeep said pollsters and reporters. I would say there's a battle between the quantitative surveyors and the people who have gone on the ground and who do a qualitative analysis. Yeah. If you do a qualitative analysis and you go on the ground, issues, the discontent, farmer distress, etc., you will feel that there is a significantly closer battle, a tighter battle. But if you do a quantitative analysis based on the turnout and the historical numbers and the number of rebels and the voting turnout patterns and the caste dynamics which have changed, quantitatively, it seems that the Mahayuti has the...
gender is going to be a huge role in this election, given that Ladki Bahin was so aggressively pushed. You go from the highway from Nashik all the way to Mumbai, every hoarding was about Ladki Bahin. I haven't seen one scheme ever being pushed by a state government so aggressively, a single scheme. This election wasn't about Modi ki guarantee, it wasn't even about Fadnavis ki guarantee, it was about Ladki Bahin scheme all the way. So if you've got one single narrative, the point that Amitabh made, it could be that.
But can I make the point? Can I make the point?
Just a limited point. Based on what Rajat said, I think Rajat got it spot on. The biggest mistake that happened for the Mahavikas Aghadi was the victory in the Lok Sabha. That convinced them it's a done deal. So July, August, September, through the monsoon, they decided to step back, sit down, and that gave the opportunity to the Shinde government to frame a positive narrative around Ladki Bahin to offset some of the anti-incumbency that was clearly there against the government. They worked hard in those 3 months, they focused on target groups and course corrected. If Maharashtra turns out to be a Mahayuti victory, it's a classic example of how in politics, never give up, course correct, learn from your mistakes, and there is no place for complacency.
The Mahavikas Aghadi was acting like India before the New Zealand Test series began. They just assumed that humne jeetna hi hai. I mean, what's the big deal? They'll come, we'll just whack them around and win. And in the end, it turned out to be a 3-0 drubbing.
But Preeti, do you agree this gender factor? You travel through those critical areas where there is farmer distress, Vidarbha and Marathwada. was the farmer identifying himself or herself as a farmer first or as a woman first?
Well, you know, Rajdeep, the way I look at it is the Maha Vikas Aghadi is hoping that the same issues are voted again twice over after Lok Sabha, and where the Mahayuti is concerned across at least the districts and the regions I travelled into, I do feel there's only one single narrative, which is the Ladki Bahin Yojana. Having said that, you know, one can say, will it work here because it worked in Madhya Pradesh, and if it works here, it will have to work in Jharkhand. We tend to look at women as a monolith. It's not, because it didn't work in Telangana where BRS was there. It didn't work in Andhra Pradesh where YSRCP was there. So will it work this time or not? That remains to be seen. Having said that, Rajdeep, there is a caveat. This scheme is slightly different than the other cash for transfer schemes, because usually it was one woman per household is what we've seen in the recent past. This one at some level will give about 4,500 per household, and that's a fair amount of money, because that would mean that one woman who is going out and working doesn't need to. So of the three in the house, one doesn't need to go out and work and can stay home.
No,
so in that sense, yes.
Also brilliantly timed. You see,
But
when you look at the Diwali bonus, a family told
True.
me, you see, one of the things we like in Maharashtra is faral at Diwali. Now, in normal times, the faral this time was more expensive because cooking oil price had gone up.
True.
But the moment I get 7,500, I can buy faral. One very interesting family in Thane told me, I said, "Tumi kai kela? What did you do with the money?" "Ami pizza party keli." These were these housemates
But there's a flip side. But Rajdeep, there is a flip side. So while you're getting about 4,500 and, you know, certain urban centers are very, very happy. I've met women ecstatic. Some of them have actually even got together, started a small, you know, farsan ka business and stuff like that. And they've started doing that. But there is a flip side. When you travel through Marathwada, when you travel through Vidarbha, in Vidarbha, a woman becomes a farmer as well. In Marathwada, caste identity takes over. So that woman might not vote as a woman getting in this amount of money, but vote as a Maratha. In Vidarbha, vote as a farmer. So I did see those differences and nuances.
Vidya joins us from Matoshri. That's the residence of the Thakres. And the Thakre family wouldn't be very happy with the post-poll studies that came out, Vidya, because the polls uniformly are suggesting while Sharad Pawar's NCP is likely to do better than Ajit Pawar's NCP, in that Sena versus Sena clash, the suggestion so far is, and we'll see what the results are, the suggestion so far is that Shinde Sena may triumph over the Uddhav Balasaheb Thackeray Sena, and that could be deeply problematic.